Hey there, it's Latoria Q, and I'm back with another video. Today is day 8, and this is the Silent Hurt That We Carry series, okay? And today we're still talking about self-acceptance. What if the person that you've been running from your whole life is you? Just you. Not what your mother told you you're supposed to be, not what your father told you you're supposed to be. What if the person that you're ultimately running from is the person that you were born to be? What do you do with that? Many people fear who they are because they fear ultimately that they won't become who they've been called to be or what they feel internally that they're supposed to be. They're afraid of failure. Failing at being yourself is completely impossible unless you're trying to be someone else and you just see it is not working for you, okay? Today we're talking about the fear of authenticity. That's very critical in this life. Do you know how many people are really scared to be themselves? I mean, their goofy self, their silly self, their corny self, their like whatever. People are scared to be themselves, thinking that someone is always going to be judging them. But let me tell you, when you get that I don't give a fuck attitude, sorry, I had to say it like that. When you get into this place where you don't care what anybody thinks about you, what anybody says about you, what anybody believes about you, when you don't even care about that, that is the most freeing that's the most freeing life experience that you could ever give yourself. That is the best gift that you could ever give yourself. Not saying that you don't have to be the best version of yourself, but what I'm saying is you don't have to be in someone's box anymore. Baby, that's the best feeling in the world, okay? But truth be told, the fear of being yourself often comes from childhood experiences where you were told, sit down, be quiet, don't do this, don't do that. You're too sensitive. You're such a crybaby. You too silly. You think you funny. And sit down somewhere. And so all these times you being yourself, you just want to be vibrant. And someone says, sit down somewhere. Do you know how many kids can get away from their parents and be the most amazing person? But then when they get around their parents, they're quiet, hunched over. They don't know what to say all of a sudden. They don't want to be involved in things because they don't want their mama to be like, but didn't I tell you be quiet? You up here embarrassing me. You don't want your mama them saying that, right? So we carry that energy up in life. Like we don't want someone saying, well, I don't like that about you, or stop that, or sit down somewhere, or why are you doing that? We oftentimes keep these little nuances of messages that we've heard from other people. We keep it in the back of our mind. So then it's like when we go do something, it's like, see, I don't want to do that. No, see, I got to be quiet. So let me tell you about myself. So I've grown up singing my whole life. Love to sing, right? And so when I was a little girl, I remember being in the car and I would always watch like Star Search and things like that. And I would say, Mom, I want to do this. I want to do that. So my mom and I would always sing on the way to church because I come from a singing family. And so I remember one time riding with my dad and my mom was singing. And I was like, Mom, I can sing too. So I began to sing. And my dad said, be quiet, sit back because your mama sang better than you. And as a kid, that was like a gut punch because it wasn't that I wanted to sing better than my mom, and it wasn't that I wanted to sing better than anybody else. I just loved to sing. I just loved to be a performer, you know? But when I had that little check, it was like, well, I don't want to sing for nobody. I still don't. But I'm more willing to sing now. And that's why, for me, it's more fun and it's just more, of an experience, right? And that's why I put it on my channel, because I want to do that for me. The little girl in me just wants to sing. The little girl in me just wants to dance. And I don't really care if you like it or not. But when you have someone say, somebody else does it better than you, be quiet, blah, 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 it makes you just put a top on it, right? But this is what I want to tell you, how to get out of that. The fear of being accepted is not your fault. It's not. The fear of being accepted is something that has been ingrained in you, starting usually from childhood or being in a relationship in proximity to someone who you value their opinion, you value their love. And when they have criticized you or judged you in a way that places fear in your life, because you place value on the relationship, you place value on the relationship with them, you place value on the love that they give you, you use their idea, thought, and opinion about you to fear who you really are. And so you stop, you shut it down. You don't live out a life that you ultimately desire because you have fear of whomever you value and you love not valuing and loving those traits about you. When you've had childhood experiences or social pressures that you don't get to live out your true self, then you begin to have resentment towards yourself. And so then you begin to self-sabotage because you aren't able to see the true value and nature of you, and you are not able to live out that true value and nature of yourself. So then you run from it, you hide from it, you don't embrace it. And so then you don't get to really feel your whole body. You don't get to feel your whole being. You don't feel the vibration. You don't feel the high energy. You don't feel yourself because you have completely diminished yourself to prove that whatever they think, whatever they said is right. It is your responsibility to unlearn limiting beliefs. I'll say that again. I don't care who told you you were supposed to be anything. I don't care who told you to be quiet. I don't care who told you to sit down and shut up. What I'm telling you, that it is your responsibility. It is on you to learn those limiting behaviors and how to break away from them. It's up to you. In order to overcome this fear, you are going to not only have to identify the fear, the cause of the fear, but you're going to have to also challenge it, which means you're going to have to battle yourself. All the things that you've told yourself over the years, all the things that you've allowed yourself to experience over the years because of your limiting beliefs, all those things, you're going to have to battle it. You're going to have to say, challenge. You're going to have to challenge it. It's up to you to build courage to be seen and heard. I'm not talking about on the Broadway stage. I'm not talking about in the limelight. Not at all. What I'm talking about, it's up to you to bring awareness of your courage. It's up to you to put it into practice. It's up to you. Stepping into your authentic self requires you to be vulnerable. It requires you to be transparent and honest. It requires you to have a relationship with yourself. And that relationship with yourself has to be real. It has to be true. The best relationship is the one you're going to have with yourself. That's where you're not judging yourself based on someone else's merits and sticks. That's where you're not using someone else's voice to criticize you and activities that you want to do. That's where you are not limiting yourself with old beliefs and old patterns just because it was in a generation before you or just because society said that it was supposed to be this way. It's up to you to challenge those thoughts that you've been carrying around this whole time. And it's up to you to go against the grain now and be seen and heard. Now, before we talked about having boundaries. Well, there's a parameter around yourself that you're going to have too. That means when it's those old thoughts and old feelings and old statements that you used to say all the time, when they start to pop up in your mind, you're going to have to put a block up on it, right? And then you're going to have to challenge it by being seen and heard. So that means if someone's talking to you in a way that you don't appreciate and is not valuable to your life, right? You put up the stop, and then you have to be seen and heard within your own vessel. So then that means, no, I am worthy of da 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 da. I am deserving of da 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 da. Whatever it may be, you got to put the block up, put the boundary up, and then challenge it by being seen and heard. That means you're going to bring awareness to yourself and affirm yourself by saying, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am valuable, I am loved, and this is why, this is how, and this is the way that I choose to receive it. It's up to you. So many people are afraid of what other people think about them, but I'm here to tell you, it don't matter what they think about you. It does not matter what they say about you. It does not even matter what they believe about you. It is what you believe about yourself. It is what you speak over your own life. It is how you see yourself showing up. It's about you versus you. And you gonna have to let the old version of you go. You will have to let the old version of you that stays stagnant, that stays making excuses, that stays with basement level thinking. You're gonna have to let that version of yourself go because it doesn't serve you. The only validation you need is your own. I hope you getting this. The only person that you need to affirm you every single day is you. When you wake up in the morning and you go look in the mirror, the first thing you need to do is, I'm glad you are here. Talking to yourself. I'm glad I made it another day to have another opportunity to do amazing things. I'm so glad I get to talk to those who I'm supposed to talk to and pour out the best version of myself, because I bring people joy. I bring people excitement. I bring beauty to this life. And then if you can't say that, it's because you don't believe that about yourself. And it's time for you to challenge the old you. You have to create a new identity rooted in truth, your new truth. Having a new identity isn't about you being someone else, doing something that is not true to who you are and your core values, okay? But creating a new identity is absolutely letting go of old thoughts, old beliefs, old patterns, and even some old relationships. It's unlearning everything that isn't true about you. And as you eliminate those thoughts and eliminate those statements, you then allow room for the real version of you to step in and build up, okay? So here's one of those manifestation practices that I do, right? So whenever I want something new, let's say I want to get a new couch, right? I don't care if I'm using my old couch or not. I get rid of my new couch. I create an empty space so that every time I walk into my living room, I see an empty space and I still got to get a new couch. I know what I want. It looks like this. It's going to be like that. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put it like that. And so then when I go out and I look for a couch, right, I can find the most perfect furniture. And because I know what I want, I know what I'm looking for, and I have now the room and the space for it, opportunities find me. So not only do I get a new couch, but I may add on. And so when I walk into the room now, because I was eliminating the old first, right? I didn't try to put something new in there while I still had something old there. When I got rid of the old first, right, I created a space and then I created an opportunity. So now my eyesight, my mindset, what I'm doing now is I'm looking for opportunities to fill this space in. And I can't just fill this space in with any old thing. I got to fill this space in with some new, fresh life. And then everything around begins to shift. So not only did I get a new couch, just for the sake of the conversation, but not only did I get a new couch, but I got a whole new room because everything shifted around. Well, that's like life for you. When you get rid of your old stagnant beliefs and you get rid of those old perceptions of yourself and you really start to dig in and believe better about yourself and do better, right? When you know better, you do better, right? Well, when you start to clean out that old and then bring in that new freshness, everything about you begins to look different. Everything that you begin to say about yourself becomes different. Everything you begin to tap into is different. The relationships you connect to, they're more authentic, they're more real, they have more value, they're more sustainable. Why? Because you got rid of something old that doesn't have a purpose and you got into something new to where everything shifted around, everything conspired to work out for the best of you, for you, because you chose to step into this with a new, fresh mind for yourself, how you see yourself, how you show up for yourself, how you create life for yourself on the day-to-day basis. Everything will begin to get into alignment for you. So your job, your relationships, your living environment, everything will begin to shift. Your hair, your skin, you won't have as much stress. Just life will begin to be brighter and easier, figuratively easier. Everything isn't necessarily easier. It's just how you perceive it. And so things just won't overwhelm you in a way that they used to because you are now looking and living from a new vantage point. Setting up daily practices for you to live into your true identity and your true self is so important. Being authentic is a journey. It's not a place you get to. It's not a destination. It's not a relationship. You don't become the best version of yourself because you went into a relationship. You had to be the best version of yourself before that relationship came, because you can't attract someone who's the best version of themselves and you're not the best version of yourself. And you don't want to put the requirement on you or someone else to be someone else's healer. You don't want the responsibility of healing your man or woman when they should have the responsibility of healing themselves. They don't have the responsibility of healing you. You have the responsibility of healing yourself. You have the responsibility of tapping in and knowing who you are and showing up in a way that supports them and being the best version of themselves. Because otherwise, what is y'all doing?